Good evening, ladies. Good evening, and welcome to Wine and Wisdom. We are back, and it is time to sip, savor, and elevate your minds. Tonight's topic is unveiling the burden of self blame after marriage's end. Now, this is something I can totally relate to. I remember feeling completely responsible, completely responsible for my marriage ending. And thank goodness I have learned better skills since then. But there is a baseline for why we do that. And that's why I'm here for us to talk about these areas and stop carrying this blame, because women, we are doing the most for the very least. Do you hear me? Now, if what I share with you resonates at any point, I want us to connect beyond the podcast by inviting you to drop in on my Thrive Through Divorce call. This call is so important. It's for every high achieving woman that is really struggling to navigate the life of divorce, separation, and breakups. I don't want you guys to simply survive life's relationship challenges, but I want you to thrive through them. Okay. A little bit about me. For those of you that are just now meeting me for the first time, I am Dr. Carlia East. I'm an empowerment coach, clinician, psychotherapist, powerhouse woman, and unapologetic badass, and also divorcee. Hey, one time for the D. I've been serving women for over 20 years throughout the United States, just helping them thrive through relationships, feel good about being single, understanding this is a choice every day to choose your mate and choose who you're with, and also helping her to find her resilience through her life and balance in her career by owning and creating her own powerhouse blueprint to help her navigate these areas. My Wine and Wisdom podcasts are a space for us, again, to sip, savor, and elevate our minds. So everybody got their glasses filled? Now I am working with a little rum chata, tis the season. All right. So that's what I'm working with in my mug. But you ladies, grab your wine and let's get started. I want to introduce you to Sarah. Okay. Let's meet Sarah because Sarah's going through some stuff. All right. So Sarah is a 35-year-old woman that is actually navigating the process of divorce. She recently went through a divorce, and it's been really hard for her just mentally and emotionally carrying the baggage from that. So normally she always prioritizes her family. She's really good at work. However, her marriage started facing, some challenges, and tensions and arguments begin to grow. Now, as her marriage continued to reach this breaking point, she began to internalize blame for all the things that were going on in the marriage. How many of you, hello, show of hands, can relate to that? We internalize the blame that goes on because guess what? We're trying to navigate and work really, really hard at maintaining this marriage and making it healthy. And so oftentimes we look inward, right, before we look anyplace else in order to figure out where we failed as a wife or a partner. And our first dialogue is often sometimes to go to work. Am I working too much? Am I spending too many hours on the job? Am I volunteering too much time? Am I not sacrificing enough? Am I spending too much time on hobbies? Again, you're not expressing yourself clearly. You're not even expressing yourself to your mate. These are things that we're internalizing and keeping at bay. And thusly, we're partially mentally going through the struggle and mentally beating ourselves up as we are going through a divorce. As her divorce began to intensify, she found herself completely replaying this over and over in her mind, completely replaying the negative self-thoughts and the processes. Even though her friends and family tried to tell her, girl, it takes two to tango, all right? And it takes two to untangle, okay? So you did your part, he or she did their part, it's not all you. But as you all know, as women, we hold this together. And what do we do to work through it? Lots of things, right? We go to church, which is always necessary as a baseline, but we have to add some combinations to that, right? And so we go to church, we get self-help books, we join all types of Facebook groups and Instagram groups that help us to feel like we're vibing. We go to meetups, with other women who are going through the same process. But the one thing that we're not doing, that we're not really recognizing, is that we need somebody, all right? We need a homegirl in our corner. We need a coach that has our back. Right? We need a therapist or someone to help us guide us through that mental piece, because that mental block is where you're coming from. That's why you can't get past it, because even though Sarah has gone through her divorce and is now fully divorced, she is still dealing with that blame. She is still dealing with the shame, right? And carrying that with her. And one of the nuggets that she's missing out of all of this, right? This is the nugget. This is the piece that y'all write down. Self-compassion. Let's talk about that for a minute. Self-compassion is basically when you do not place unnecessary or ridiculous expectations on yourself. You're being fair with what you are expecting from yourself. You being fair with what you want to achieve throughout the day and what you want to achieve in your life. And when you practice self-compassion, you end up looking at yourself and your behaviors. And in practicing self-compassion, you say, okay, as a human being, as a fallible creature, as a woman in this situation, was I under responding or over responding? Or was I responding the way a hurt person responds? Right? Was I wrong for working? We don't blame our mates when they go to work. When they work double schedules, triple schedules, jump in there and grab some overtime. Do we jump on them? Do we say, oh, you're not a great mate. You're terrible. No, we don't. We support them 100% in that. So why aren't we holding ourselves accountable to that same type of support, love, and compassion? Ladies, you have to show yourself some self-compassion, right? Show yourself some self-compassion. Absolutely. That's what we have to do. And in doing that, you realize that your journey is more of an opportunity than a challenge. Once Sarah began to really understand self-compassion and not placing burdens on herself that weren't fair, not placing expectations on herself that she wouldn't have placed on her mate, right? Because that person is a part of this dynamic too. She emerged stronger. She came out more resilient, right? She learned that a divorce is an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. You do not have to walk around with that scarlet letter D, on your chest to represent divorce. And through her experience, she discovered that healing, right? When you heal, you begin to acknowledge that no one person, including you, is responsible and the sole bearer for anything that goes wrong in that relationship. Sometimes it's not really you at all. Sometimes the seeds have already planted in the person that you're trying to heal. But because you didn't plant those seeds, again, ladies, you can't heal them. So I want you to definitely think about that self-compassion piece and whether you are holding yourself accountable to things that you should not be accounting for. Y'all hear me? And y'all take a sip on that. Now, listen, if you vibed with me and if you understood the narrative of Sarah, because I know I've been where Sarah is, right? I've definitely been there. I want you to jump on my Thrive Through Divorce call. This is so vital. Listen, you are killing the game in the office. You're killing the game as an entrepreneur. You're killing the game as a parent, whether it's a human baby or a fur baby. You're killing the game as far as being a friend and a community advocate in all of these areas. But your relationship, your marriage, your engagement is no longer. It has fallen apart. It's coming to its end. You've decided you don't want to be there. You've recognized that, maybe the person that you're with is not the person that you feel the happiest with all the time, but you're still stuck there. This call is to help you thrive through divorce, right? To help you recognize that it's not about just surviving. It's about thriving. It's about cultivating confidence so that you can empower yourself, so that you can endure this, roller coaster of emotions that you're already on. This is about effective communication with your ex or with your mate, based upon the fact that you will or have to communicate about some things from time to time. But this is also about not leaving as a bitter person and having all this resentment towards him or her that ultimately eats you up from the inside out, right? And then lastly, balancing the demands of family, friends, your job, and finding that self-development, looking at this as an opportunity of personal growth, right? Jump on that call with me. The link is provided. Now, if we work together and it's a vibe and we're going to continue it, we will. But if not, at least you know where to pinpoint, where to start, where to begin to heal so that you can have peace of mind, PEACE, as you're going through this process, and opportunistic ideas, right, about what your next goal is. Okay. Ladies, I hope y'all are vibing with me and you'd appreciate it because I do. I am working and have worked through this divorce thing and I am coming out on top and I feel stronger and more empowered than I ever did in my whole entire life. And I'm not bitter and I'm totally optimistic and I totally am looking forward to love again. But right now I'm good with loving on me. As always, ladies, it has been a blast sipping wine or rum chata. Okay. Please don't forget to like, share my posts with other women that are going through breakups, divorces, or separations. We know how these things go. We suffer in shame and in silence, and we should not. We should be supported because relationships happen. They come and they go sometimes, and we need to be prepared to be amazing creatures no matter where they end up, okay? Till next time, this is Dr. E Speaks. Please continue to embrace your individuality, unapologetic authenticity, and love yourself no matter what, honey, because you do rock. Bye.